Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. It's that time again. We're going to get into a frequently asked questions video. We're going to go to the comment section. I'm going to see 3 comments from 3 different videos addressing your concerns and questions that you might leave on my channel. And I'm going to do my best to answer them as best as I can. I do this regularly, so if you leave your comments on any video, including this one, I will hopefully see it, especially if it's got some real meat on the bones. I'd love to get into it. And when possible, if I see your IGN, I will send a little thank you with DEC. I can't and I won't if I don't see an IGN, even if I know you, because I'm not going to remember everybody's IGN. So go ahead and leave it, and I appreciate you guys. Let's get into it. I haven't looked at the comment section before I start this, so we're just going to go looking for 3 different comments from 3 different videos. Plus, there's sometimes some extras, like I see Gathering here. Shout out to Gathering the Magic. Check him out, his channel, guys. Amazing Splinterlands YouTube content around, playing Splinterlands and maximizing your returns with really minimal sort of investment. He has an account that he started for $10. He has a lot of fun with it. He talks about it. He has joy in it. And yet he's getting these rewards from it. And he's tracking them in a very methodical way that I think you'll find value in. So check out his channel. He goes, and he's answering a question from my end of season. That's awesome. Thank you, bud. So I had an end of season video today, earlier today, January 15th, and I got 200 plus chests. At the end of the video, I opened my land rewards, and for the first time ever, got a totem or a totem fragment. It was a rare totem fragment, and I didn't know how that worked. I was like, is it one turn into a totem later somehow? No, he's saying you need 10 common totem fragments, 8 rare, 6 epic, 4 legendary to complete a totem. That's really helpful. Thank you, Gathering. I did also see your end of season reward video, and you mentioned something around that too. So I kind of got the answer from watching your channel. Guys, check out his channel. Here's a good comment. I can see, I haven't read the full thing as I sit here, but I read enough that I can tell there's going to be a conversation here. So Firebolts goes, again, same video, end of season, 200 plus chests, 96 bronze from one account, 40 gold from one account, and I want to say 65 champion from my main account. And then in addition to that, other rewards from the game. I was talking about tournament rewards, and I was talking about the land rewards. Let's see what Firebolts has to say. End of the day, I'm just thankful Splinterlands doesn't have the massive fan base yet. Reason I say that, you tell me how renting a decent bronze modern deck for 69 DC a day is helping anyone. Questions and suggestions should always fall back on how Splinterlands company could continue to offer products and services without any return. So I actually thought this comment was going one direction, and now I'm a little bit surprised by where I see him landing. It seems to me, so you're thankful that Splinterlands doesn't have a massive fan base yet. Okay. And you're saying that because the bronze modern deck for 69 cents a day is helping anyone. You must be saying that's just so inexpensive, because 69 cents, for those who don't know the translations, that would be like 1,000 is $1. So 100 is 10 cents. So you're talking like 7 cents worth of DEC, and you can get you can rent a decent bronze modern deck for 7 cents a day. And so I think he's saying that the owner of those cards, who's renting them to Firebolts or to any other player, is getting such a trivial sort of return for their investment that it's like it doesn't even move the needle for the owner. And I think that's probably fair. It's relatively true that the rental returns that are available, even for the highest level cards, they're not super substantial. Now they can be. I've been looking at it recently. If you go into the buy market on Peak Monsters, you can look up cards, key cards. You go into legendaries. Let's say we want to look at regular foils, legendaries. You can click on any old card, and you'll actually find some interesting data in here. You can see that there's a rental ROA, and it's going to tell you roughly, if you were to buy this card at this price with this many new BCX, you're going to get this much return based on the cost you're paying and the rental cost or rental profitability for that particular card, 6%. And this is a legendary card, which is strong. Now it's a Chaos Legion reward, meaning there's a lot of them. 134,000 is a lot. But if we want to go check out something else that's more rare, we can do that. We can go in here to promos, or really promo legendaries are some of the most rare cards there are. And if you look at this, like Lux Vega, the rental returns 15, 16%. You want to look at Dr. Blight, 14, 15%. How about Mantaroth, brand new, super OP, everybody loves it, 22%. So I'm saying the rental returns are truly not that crazy because these are super expensive. You know, these are expensive assets. We're talking $50 times 11, $550 US dollars. This one, $360 US dollars for that, $400 for that probably. You know, $400, $500 worth of assets being bought on one card, and you can rent it out to one person at a time, and it's going to generate 20% annually. Meaning, if it costs $500 to buy the card, you can get across a year 20% of that back is $100 for the year. That might to one person sound amazing, and I think to another larger audience probably sound like pretty trivial. When you look at cryptocurrency and what the sort of gains are possible within cryptocurrency, I would say most people would consider those returns really trivial. People in crypto are looking for 10x and 40x and 100x on their investments, not 10 or 20 or 30% ROA. And so I guess what I'm saying is, I think I agree when he says that the 69 DEC for a decent bronze deck, it just doesn't move the needle. Like, why is that? It's just inconsequential, I think is what I'm seeing. At least if that's not your point, that's the thing I notice about rental markets. The returns are not crazy. But the exciting thing is, and coming back to the initial point of like how there's not a massive fan base yet. At times in the past of this game, there have been these spikes in player base, and when there's this increased demand, this very pronounced increase in demand for the cards that affects the prices of the cards off the market when you're buying them, but also the rental card prices as well. And then it's like this reoccurring cycle, because what happens if the rental card, if the price of the card for being the rental profit for the card goes up, then the price to sell the card goes up. If the card costs $1 and it produces 10 cents a year, okay, that makes some sense, I guess. That's roughly what I just showed you. But then if the card costs, now if the card price goes from $1 to $10, that's a 10x in price card value, you would expect and you will find that the rental returns are going to 10x as well, or more sometimes. Because again, lack of supply is going to drive the increased price appreciation due to demand. It's a supply and demand. And so the rental costs might be really cheap. I don't think they always will. The card costs might currently be really cheap. I don't think they always will. The player base might not currently be massive. I don't think that'll always be true. And when you finish with questions and suggestions, should always fall back on how Splinterlands company could continue to offer products and services without any return. I think you're saying, like, how can the team, like you're commenting on the future sustainability of the team, maybe? I think you're saying, like, I'm hearing a bearishness around the lack of value with the resources, with the assets, and what does that mean for the company's ability to continue keep going forward if their products don't produce value? Who's going to buy them, and how's the company going to sustain itself? I think there's just a short-sightedness to that. I don't know that I don't know your whole story here, but I suspect to be talking about bronze decks, and also to be kind of pointing towards concern about the company's sustainability, all to me tells me a lack of knowledge of like where the company's been and where they've come from. Because man, they've survived 2 full substantial bear markets. Now this bear market isn't over until SPS is, 10 plus cents and player bases are growing and card prices are ticking up in a meaningful way. I don't think this bear market is over. But I do think the worst of this bear market is behind us. And I point to important data to tell you that. I'm going to pull some of it up right this second. I have an Excel spreadsheet that is tracking my card collection. And this is on January 3rd, which is now almost 2 weeks ago. I have data that I can reveal to you or show to you. So this is my most recent information. This is from my card collection, and as you can see, I started tracking in May of 2023, and the price of my collection was $50,000. The price fell all the way down to $25,000 in November. That was a 5-6 month window of time where the cost of cards cut in half. But ever since November of 2023, the prices have really ticked up, and they've stayed in that same general range of $34,000, $33,000, $35,000 as we come back to peak monsters. And I look at my card collection, and I go in here and click on the filters, and I look at owned. You can see that my price total, or my total value of my cards, is $34,760. Sorry, $796. And so call it $35,000. So 35,000 is pretty much what I just showed you. 34.5 is where I was in January 3rd. And so 12 days later, it's a few $100 more, but pretty much the same thing. So I'm saying I think the floor was in November. I think, and I could be wrong, but I do believe we are looking at higher highs coming for us. We're looking at new gains. We're looking at new adoption. I think as card prices spike, I think as SPS spikes, that just invites new players in. And I think you'll see this ramping up. That's my expectation. And it's not a prediction. It's not advice. It's just my expectation. It's how I'm positioning myself and why. And, take that however you want. But I think if I'm right, then I think you start to see an end to really inexpensive rentals. You see an end to inexpensive cards. You see a growth to the player base. And as a result of that, you see a general increase and positive upward sort of spin to all of the things I think you're seeing, you're mentioning here. Thanks for the comment, Fire. I appreciate you, and I hope you have an awesome day. Let's go to the next one. Let's do a quick comment on Golem Overlord. So in a recent frequently asked question video, I did right at the end of the video, there's a very brief comment on Golem Overlord. And if you don't know, it's another cryptocurrency or blockchain based video game where you can earn crypto for your time and attention. This is it here. Actually, I need to claim. So in 10 minutes, I'm going to be able to claim. This is where I'm at nowadays for anybody who's interested. I'm at 600-ish scavenger golems usually. Now that total declines every single day, and you have to build new ones every single day. I keep, for my fortification, that is sort of a good threshold. I usually claim every 12 hours. I'm always out trying to aim at a higher and higher prestige. And the prestige benefit gives me, what does it give me again? It gives me so this is one of the main considerations for having higher and higher prestige. Higher and higher prestige and level impact my battle energy. See that? Your battle energy refill speed is dependent on your level. And this is really important to maximize the financial angle that I'm playing. This is a game where I can attack my opponents. I can either farm using scavenger golems, and if I farm, I collect comp and part by farming using the golems, and that's like a passive way of return. Or I can have this active way of returning by building power and faith, and then attacking you to take your resources. This is the active way, is the way I mostly lean. As you can see, I've got 234 power. That's including my bonuses. I have 151 fortification. So I'm really not focused on defending, and I'm really not focused on farming. I just do a little bit of that. I mostly focus on attacking. I mostly focus on my faith and power. And as a result, I want more and more energy. So in order to maximize my energy refill rate, I want to maximize my level. And so that's where I'm at. That's what I'm doing. And I did a full month of this. Maybe I can show some data quickly. I tracked it for a while there. Let's see. So this is data from a recent month. Let's open this up as well. This is part sales from Golem Overlord. And I don't know how easily it is to see that on the screen, but I can read it. October 23rd was when October 20th, 2023 was when I started. And as you can scroll down to the bottom, this is like a month later, November 22nd, 2023. I had attracted in that 32 days or whatever that is, calendar days, I took out however many removals or withdrawals that would be. It's not one per day. It sometimes was two per day, depended on different variables. But there's a price breakdown of those resources. I look at, which unit I took out. I took out part in this instance. In this instance, I took out shards. I can tell by the number of units that were sold, and there's prices associated with it. And then there's a number of hive that I exchanged that for, and the hive price at the time, so I could calculate a USD value. And it translated to $72.60 across one 30-day window. Now that turned out to be not sustainable. I need to say that clearly, because it was, when you take out all of your resources from this game, you end up losing a certain amount of your bonuses. Now on the screen here, it says used 87%. It says it has a percentage See, look at that right at the top. Burn less than 80% of what you claim and your earnings will be reduced, growing bigger the further away from 80%. This affects part and shards, burn, or stake to increase your multiplier. So what it's saying is, if you make 100 part during a day and you take out 80, yeah, you're okay. If you burn 100, if you make 100 part during a day and you take out 99 or 100 or 90, anything over 80, you start to go into this deficit where the game's like you're stealing, or stealing is not the right word. You're extracting more resources than you're leaving in the game. And while that's acceptable, there starts to be this diminishing return. There starts to be this like damage to your capacity within the game. It starts affecting how much you will earn from the game. And so there's this fine line I realized I need to thread. I can't just go ahead and take everything out every single day. That is not sustainable. I need to do this sort of model. And I haven't taken any more out since then, really. But clearly I could go ahead and take some out. In fact, I could go forward on an ongoing basis and just take out 19, 20% every day. And it would keep me above my capacity. But that's fine with me. Right now I'm doubling down. I'm using all my comp to just make my buildings more powerful, my city more powerful, so I can keep earning more in the future. I don't really feel like this needs to turn a profit massively now. And so this is my view. This is my approach. This is, I guess, is turning into a bit of an update about how I'm using this and whatnot. But that's my full strategy and what I'm getting and what I'm doing here. And I guess I'll just go back to the comment and say, I noticed that you shared how much you've made. So my financial journey said, I'm loving Golem Overlord. I've pulled north of 500 hive out of the game. So that would be, even at 30 cents, 150 bucks. Great, good for you. I put $0 into it beyond the $10 to start. So he started before the cost to join was 20 bucks. So I joined when the game cost $20 to start. I think it now costs $20 to start. And so you got in there right away. Good for you. And then every day you're playing a game like this, you compound your returns. So like when you claim something and you stake it into the game again, you're compounding tomorrow's return so that it'll be even bigger. And then tomorrow's return will be X, and you reinvest that. And then on the following day, you get X plus, Y or whatever. It's like this compound return. And so it really does grow in this massive multiplying way. And that's what's really cool, both about Golem Overlord, but also Splinterlands, because you're going to get, every time you get a little trivial reward, whether it's SPS or a new Soulbound reward card, it starts to add up to give you new opportunities to win more tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And so that's great. 500 for you is amazing. That's an amazing start, especially since you only put 10 bucks in. And then over here, we got Nibble. Nibble says he pulled out 2,400 hive on Golem Overlord on my one account. There's still a lot of potential in this project. I agree. I think they are putting a lot of development into it. If you don't know about this, you should check it out. That's all I'm saying. There is a link in my descriptions. I don't recommend putting anything more than you want to lose. And then in a game like this, that's never really, you know what I mean? It is relatively brand new, and it hasn't truly survived like a full bear market. Something like Splinterlands, I have so much more confidence in, but that doesn't mean I have no confidence in Golem Overlord. I just have relatively less confidence than Splinterlands. I have a huge investment in Splinterlands. I have tons of confidence there. I have some investment in Golem Overlord, about 150 bucks, minus that 70 that I took out. So 80 bucks of my own money. And I'm willing to just keep playing and keep growing that. I'm not eager to extract. I'm just looking to double down and see where this goes. And I would encourage people to play everything like this, Splinter Forge, Golem Overlord, every game you can get your hands on for relatively little investment, and just use your time and attention to extract what you're able, because you're going to be surprised one day with what that looks like and what it turns into. That's my confidence. If you enjoy these things, I think enjoy that fun and seek that reward with just your time and effort, and you might be surprised. Thanks for the comment, guys. Okay, cool. I got a comment from Oscu that is grabbing my attention here. He's talking about, have a look at Argarux. He won me so many battles. I also make sure to have enough Scattershot cards to counter the Grimbarden Smith meta. Darg is also very good right now, but but with roughly $20 per BCX, very pricey. Now I'm going to look at those couple cards, and I want to talk about this Scattershot conversation around Grim Smith. So let's look up Agarux. I don't actually know who that is. The comment is coming on a video where I recently was talking about Rebellion and how I'm playing around this. Okay, Argorex Magus. This is a card I was a little bit sleeping on or wasn't super respecting. I did rent it the other day. It was relatively inexpensive to rent. I want to say it was 50 DEC to rent this thing per day, which again is really nothing. I mean, for 2 days is the minimum rental time. Is that 10 cents? Yeah, it's 10 cents. Like, you know, okay, you know, let's go. Let's give it a shot. The damage output is very minimal, and that's why I thought to myself, whatever. But the Scattershot is why he's bringing it up. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But first, I want to say Bloodlust is amazing. The only problem is if you're only going to get, it's water, so it's not going to get a buff from Obsidian. You don't have a plus magic damage doer in the Modern League for the blue team, but you do if you're playing in Wild. And I have Alric, which is the blue +1 magic damage summoner. Or you have the older or the newer, is it a legendary summoner with the +1 magic as well? I forget his name right now. Valnamore. So there's 2 paths for giving this a magic buff, and that's pretty interesting because I play in Wild. So I'm actually going to think strongly about that because again, 1 damage becomes 2, 2 damage becomes 3, and then Bloodlust starts proccing more and more often, which could get out of control. And it's got a good amount of hit points. 6 hit points is not nothing. For a 3 mana card, and because it's magic, it doesn't need to be in the first spot. It can be more tucked away, hidden, resilient, plus low mana matches. This is interesting to me, Oscar. I haven't seriously considered it. I think I'm going to. This is now on the list of cards I'm going to want to buy for the Wild perspective specifically, but even for the Modern, to come back to his main point, or one of his main points, he was talking about how Scattershot allows you to circumvent what some play that people are often doing, which you guys know, Grim Smith, the promo card. One of his amazing sort of paths for success is to put that in your first position and use the red panda in order to essentially give him taunt, because once the panda's your summoner, everybody's got camouflage, so 2nd through 6th positions are hidden. Once they're hidden, everyone focuses on Grim Barden, but because of immunity, void, shield, repair, big hit points, armor, and all the sustain you might provide in the back line, this card is so resilient. That's why the price keeps shooting up, and actually it's kind of flatlined around the $4.60 mark for the last 2 weeks, but that's a huge price for a rare card. It's one of the most expensive rare cards. It's even, like, as I look at this, it's like one of the most expensive rare cards, promo cards, like, of all time. If I remove the gold foils, look at this. As I scroll down, there's 8, 12, there's 16 cards that are more expensive than this. And I guess there's 14 that are less expensive. But for this brand new promo card to be in the middle of the pack it says a lot. It's not usually you would think these older ones are going to be more expensive, but it's that desirable, it's that powerful. It's really kind of filling a hole in the Modern League that was maybe left as some of the old cards stepped away. Like Almo Cambio was a amazing non-attacking tank that was quite resilient because of its evasiveness, and it had a good amount of hit points, so it filled a niche that Grim Barden fills. But now, because Untamed is out, Almo is out from the Modern League, and therefore cards like this have even more utility. Plus, this one's better anyways, probably because the immunity is tied to void, shield, and repair. So resilient. So he's saying, with that context, with the red panda, Grim Smith being up front, you don't want to fight this thing. That's what your enemy wants. The enemy wants you to hit this thing. Go ahead and waste your shots on this guy. It's not going to bother me. You can't poison me. You can't afflict me. You can't stun me. It's too resilient. I will win if I can get you to waste your attacks on him. But then what happens is you bring a Scattershot, which is what his point was, and that's why he brought up that Argol or whatever it was. Agarix Magus. So I'm down with that. It looks like strong card. What was the other one you mentioned there? And then we'll wrap up. Darg is also very good. Okay. I did buy a Max Darg, I believe. Yeah. So Dark Dead Blast, I have a max copy of. It doesn't have the Scattershot. So I think you're just saying, Oski was just saying like this is one of his favorites. For me too. This is one of the cards that I have a max copy of from Rebellion. I have very few Rebellion cards, but this is one of them. I went out and bought a total max copy, and I paid around $15 to $17 per BCX. Actually, we can check that quickly. So I'm not lying here. Dark Dead Blast, $50. The question is, did I pay $50 for, for 6 copies? I think I did. Let's see. Combined into 11 BCX by Dwayne. I purchased 3 BCX at $50, which means that they were $16, $17 a BCX. And now they're selling for $25 a BCX. So it's gone up a lot. It's a very strong card. That weapons trainer is amazing. This is the new weapon trainer meta, man. If you have 2 or 3 weapons trainers at your disposal, you have so much versatility with all the non-attacking monsters. Grimbarden Smith is one of them, but there's so many more. And I think just one last point on the Scattershot. It is pretty interesting how Red Panda is just really taken over more of the sort of main dragon because Kitty's now out, especially in Modern. Now I play in Wild, but if we look at the summoner data and we just see Little Shield Paw is one of the best summoners, period. That's even when I have like access to other amazing cards, Immortalis. I've got like a full Chaos set, but this card plays so many times and it wins a lot. I don't have Grimbarden Smith, but this makes Scattershot very interesting. This card and how often it gets played makes Scattershot more and more relevant. So does Taunt. There's a lot of new Taunt monsters. And if you can just ignore what your opponent wants, they want you to go down this dark alley so they can thump you, right? They've got a plan for you. They want to set you up. They want to direct your attack, but your Scattershot says, no, I'm going to do it my way. And that's sometimes the real exciting play because you just circumvent your opponent's plan and you go ahead and win. And sometimes in pretty impressive fashion. So that's interesting. Thank you for that comment on Agarax or whatever that was. I'm going to get that one. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless.